Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan is back. She's sleeping. We're here with a Screenwriter's Rant. If you want to check out my, our exclusive Bitchute Rumble exclusive today, it's the forbidden news that you can't get on YouTube. You can't talk about it on YouTube. I'm not a newscaster. I'm not an expert. I'm mostly just a humble writer of comedy, but I have opinions and I talk about stuff and I find stuff that's interesting and I just tell you about it and you can make up your own mind. People don't always agree with me, but check out Bumble, Rumble and BitChute today because YouTube is trying to tell you what to see, and that's not good. Okay, so Siberia. This movie stars William DaFoe, and looks very esoteric. Uh, from what I gather in the movie, DaFoe is on a journey of discovery, like self-discovery, and he's going to the ends of the earth. He's going to Siberia. I think it probably starts in the desert, and he's trying to find himself, or he's trying to find evil, or he's trying to find his soul. He goes all the way to meet this guy who claims to be some sort of magician. So it looks kind of surreal and interesting, right? Because we see a guy who's traveling the world, so we get exotic locations. He's trying to find his soul from the depths of madness. So these kinds of movies, I think, there's no middle ground. They're either totally mind-blowing, if they're good, or they're just boring. And you just go, I don't get this. What are you trying to say? And then you have to, read articles about it and to finally get it. And then you go, oh, yeah, okay, now I get it. But William DaFoe is always an interesting actor. I mean, he's really good at what he does. So he's just interesting to watch. He's got a cool look to him. He's not like a generic handsome boy, of course. So, and plus you got all these crazy exotic locations. There is only one way home. So, here he is up on a cliff. I don't know if you could see it. Survive. And here he is drinking, out in the middle of Siberia, I guess. And just, horrible things keep happening to him, but he also has sex with women out in the middle of nowhere, apparently. So you got the survival element, which will definitely be intense. Here he is in a cave, and then there's a scene where he meets someone in a cave who's naked. So is it him, like all disheveled? Is he seeing himself? Is he going crazy? Face Your Fear, June 18th. I wouldn't say this is a summer movie. It's not like a summer blockbuster. It's weird to release this movie in the summer, but everything's all messed up from the virus. So I'm not sure how this is going to play in the summer because people tend to, if they go to the damn movies, they want to see something big. They want to see a spectacular. They want to see a summertime movie. I don't know. It seems like a weird time to release this. To me, this would be a perfect movie to release, late winter when things are kind of warming up, or fall. I don't know about Facing Your Fear in June. It's sometime around Halloween, if it kind of is sort of a horror movie. Kind of, not really. I mean, he's talking to a guy who claims to be a magician, so that's got some supernatural element to it. I don't know, June 18th? I mean, in 90-degree weather, you're going to go see a movie about a guy who's trying to find himself in Siberia? I guess it could kind of cool you off, the sort of way that, watching a winter time movie in the summer might just have the psychological effect of that. Now, there were some credits, but they're all covered up. Thanks a lot, YouTube. How can I see anything? Let's see if I can. No, not really. Can't see. There's a lot of Italian names there, so I could tell you it's directed by Abel Ferrara, and we knew that because the credits were in there. I can't. Yeah, see this popcorn thing's blocking the whole thing. So I'm not sure who wrote it, but there's a lot of Italian names in that mix. So this may be, yeah, an Italian, German, and Mexican co-production. So this may not even get to American theaters. This may be more of an art house movie. Hollywood for a long time dominated the movie landscape. There was that movie, the Don Quixote movie that Terry Gilliam tried to put together that kept falling apart. And, part of that was that it was a European financed movie. It was financed by European investors. And so there was a lot more riding on it, and there were problems I heard, behind the scenes with some of the financing. And, there were just problems with the movie in general because it was so kind of expensive or whatnot. But like Hollywood, they kind of dominate the landscape. They don't want competition. They want to have it all. So I don't know if they wanted European companies financing anything big, and I don't know if they're even going to distribute these things. If these movies can get this sort of wide distribution in the United States, because Hollywood wouldn't want them. They'd want to push them out. But, in other countries or in other markets where they don't care as much, they creep in. And certainly there are art house distribution, and they get movies that, you can't see them anywhere else. So this probably will be in your local art house. Kind of hard to say. The 3-act breakdown, I would imagine, goes something like William DaFoe is on this journey, probably starts out in the desert. Since it's called Siberia, I assume most of the action takes place in Siberia. So it probably starts, the first act probably starts out in the desert where he's trying to find himself there, whatever he's looking for. Not exactly sure what. Maybe he's exploring religion, or maybe he's talking to people from, exotic locales who have powers, or have purported to have some sort of power, and then he gets some sort of sign or maybe a vision, and tells him he's got to go to Siberia. Like that's his next place in his journey. So the end of the first act is him starting to realize that he has to go to Siberia, and then there's something really profound about it, whatever that is. Again, it's a very kind of esoteric movie, so it's a little hard to read from just a trailer. So then he goes there, and he has to survive the very harsh landscape. He's not sure what he's doing, maybe. And he, at first, has some fun, but as he gets further and further from civilization, it gets harder and harder to survive. Maybe he starts seeing things. And finally, there's a scene in the trailer where he gets attacked by a wolf. So maybe there's a scene like an Unforgiven where he's injured, like towards the end of the second act, and he's got to recover for the third act. And then the third act is him probably, I'm going to guess he's probably confronting himself, kind of like, Luke Skywalker in the cave and Empire, something like that. It'd be a little pedantic, but for a high-minded movie like this, but I could see something like that happening. Maybe it's a vision, maybe it's not in the second act, whatever. The third act, he either finds his soul or maybe he dies. So like in an art house movie like this, I could totally see him dying at the end of the movie. He finds some enlightenment, but he dies maybe to save someone or something, but in the end he dies, but it's okay because he sort of sees the enlightenment or his soul or whatever. Maybe he regains himself. yeah, I don't know if we see him come back to civilization and live his life, because I'm not seeing anything in the trailer to indicate that we're going to see any of like a normal life. We're just going to see this guy obsessed with like travel or whatever. So Siberia, it looks interesting. I would see this movie, unless I read the reviews and they were just like, panning it like, oh, it makes no sense. Uh, but it looks interesting. I mean, William DaFoe, I don't think he can go wrong. He picks interesting projects. So Siberia comes out June 18th.